Welcome back to another Battlefront update. In today's update, we'll be going over a whole slew of different topics, ranging from the first look of Anakin Skywalker himself, all the way to the topics such as lightsaber changes and the latest update to Titan mode. But of course, before we dive into all of that, I do want to quickly go over the recent Anakin teaser that I believe came out on Friday. And no, DICE have not yet released the actual official Anakin Skywalker community transmission, if you're wondering. But instead on Friday, we did get a very small teaser of him through an article on the Battlefront website regarding his animation work. The article itself focuses on Matthias Kirsten, who is the animator on the Battlefront 2 team working on Anakin Skywalker's animations, and talks about the process that he went through to try to get the perfect feel for Anakin as much as possible. To do this, Kirsten said that he rewatched the Clone Wars series and the prequels to try and get in the right state of mind and mood for Anakin, most specifically concentrating on the battle on Mustafar against Obi-Wan Kenobi. And after spending so many hours studying Anakin's duel style, you could say he's got a pretty good idea on how Anakin should play. And based on the teaser animation shown to us, I'd have to agree. It definitely looks like Anakin, and it seems to be kind of an interesting mix between his Clone Wars and prequel fighting style, which I definitely like. Although it should be noted that for those people expecting to see Anakin fight with the anger and the same intensity as seen in Revenge of the Sith, well, they will be disappointed. As Kirsten pointed out, that the Anakin that they're bringing into Battlefront 2 is still on the light side, meaning that they don't want his anger to be shown explicitly in the lightsaber combat animation. DICE instead would rather give hints on how it lingers just below the surface, as even though he is still on the light side technically here, he is nonetheless nearing that life-changing stage to where he becomes boys of Papa Palpatine. And if you're interested in learning more, I do recommend checking out this article for yourself, to get a bit more of an understanding of the process of how DICE does make and get these heroes into the game. And it's not that bad of a read, especially the part where they talk about the hero template that they do have, which they basically edit to turn that generic hero into whatever we have now. Regarding the 2 new reinforcements that I reported in my last video, which we would be getting in March, alongside the delayed Titan mode, and we still don't have an update on 100% on whatever these will be. But what we do have is some official clarification on what they won't be straight from DICE themselves. Because as you can imagine, when the news first broke out that we would be getting 2 new reinforcements, a lot of speculation arose on what exactly these 2 units will be. And one of those theories that popped up on the internet is that the Republic would be getting the clone trooper with the riot baton, who was actually featured in the Obi-Wan Geonosis advert back in November. This clone trooper only appeared for a brief moment, but a lot of people did take notice of him, and some are now wondering if he will be the one coming as a new reinforcement. Personally, I'm not even sure how this even started as a theory or a rumor to begin with, as it would have never made sense for these guys to be a whole new reinforcement unit. Because if you remember in the single player campaign, we do see Imperial Stormtroopers with these riot batons, and when you first encounter these troopers, they're only holding E11 blasters, to which they switch to the riot batons only afterwards once you do get close enough to them. So based on that, it's quite obvious that these guys are really only the assault class with the ability to use the riot baton as a melee weapon. Which I remember even speculating back before the game even came out about DICE allowing the assault class the ability to switch to batons for close combat. But of course, while that is an option for the troopers in single player, we don't have that option in multiplayer for whatever reason. And there's no way that they would even make that into its own reinforcement class, it would be just a waste. Not only that, but can you even imagine all the bashing DICE would get from the community for being lazy to do such a thing? Aw man, I can't even imagine. So it's no surprise that DICE had to come out and even tell the players that the Riot Baton Clone Trooper would not be a new reinforcement class. I repeat, it's not the new reinforcement class. Jay Ingram from DICE simply said that it isn't. And the Riot Baton Clone Trooper that we do see from the advert was only a cinematic animation that was incorrectly used, explaining that the team that works on the promotional material is separate from the one that directly works on the game. So hopefully that should put that rumor/theory to rest. All we do know right now about these reinforcements is 2 things. 1, none of them will be droidicas. And 2, they are completely newly created assets never before seen in the game. So I'm not sure if that erases ARC Troopers from the equation or not, as their files are in the game, only just not used. But then again, that depends if DICE even counts that or not. For the big lightsaber changes that are expected to hit the game that a lot of people have been excited about, I also have some bad news there. Now, I've been getting a lot of comments and questions in my other videos of people asking me about these lightsaber changes, and whether or not they're still coming to the game in this month's update. And unfortunately, the answer to this is no. And you know what? The thing is, they never were coming this month in the first place. Let me explain. This whole talk about the lightsaber tweak patch, for example, like to remove the staggering in combat, to be coming this month is nothing but misinformation that has been spread around, and that's kind of DICE's fault. I actually remember when I first got asked this question and I had no idea on how to answer this, as I myself did not hear anything about us getting a lightsaber changes patch this month. And for good reason, because such a thing never existed, at least officially. Apparently, the confusion for all of this came as a result from a community transmission that was supposed to come out this month for it. But here's the thing, the actual patch itself was not expected to come out this month, but rather instead for March. Then DICE changed their mind and decided against putting out that said community transmission to the public. Because really, what's the point in hyping people up for something that's not even coming out until next month? I mean, of course, you can do that for like a game or something, but for like a patch like this, not really. With that said, we are getting something lightsaber related in this month's update, and that is apparently a tweak for lightsaber stuns. Now, we don't have any specific details on what kind of stun tweaks this will be, but I imagine it's something that we won't have until the full patch notes come out on the 27th with the release of the update. Now, if I was to guess what this would be, then most likely it's a response to fix the saber stun locks that people have been complaining about. But either way, it's still nice to know that we're getting at least something in the lightsaber department this month, and all the heroes vs villains players should be pretty happy with this. It's not the big lightsaber changes patch that we've all been excited about, but it's something. Next up, we of course know of the clone customization patch that is being included in this month's update, which will allow armor to be included for the clone officer class. Now, a common question regarding this has been asked if players will automatically get the officer armor for any of the previous Clone Legion bundles they bought in the past. So say that you've bought the 212th Battalion bundle before and expect to see the officer armor of this legion be available to you on the day of the update hits, and of course getting it for free because you own that legion bundle. Well, that's the unfortunate news for this, as that won't be the case. Once again, according to Jay Ingram from DICE, which his response to this was, no, the current bundles are balanced around 3 appearances, while the new ones will be balanced around all 4. So basically no, you won't have the officer armor appearance for that legion for free, unless you either buy it separately or buy it from the new updated bundles, which of course will now feature all 4 appearances instead of the previous 3. And as such, these new bundles will cost you 60,000 credits instead of the old 40,000 price tag. Jay did say that they'll go deeper into this in the Trooper community transmission that's set to come out later this week. And as always, this stuff is subject to change. But will it change? I don't know, I don't see it happening. Unless of course a lot of people complain, then maybe. And yeah, it is disappointing nonetheless that at this point we will essentially have to either purchase all the officer appearances separately for the legions that we already own, or repurchase the updated bundles if you're loaded with credits and have no idea what to do with them. As for the Clone Legion appearance corrections that are set to come with this update, then yes, those will be free and replace the previous appearances which had incorrect and non-canon designs. And last but not least, an update on Titan mode. Unfortunately no, it's still delayed for March and that will not be changing for the foreseeable future. But instead we do have a small update regarding the actual name for Titan mode, which if y'all remember is only merely a codename for the game mode that DICE are using internally. The official public name for the mode has not yet been released, and not even DICE themselves could figure one out for all this time. But we have now learned that the actual name for the mode has now finally been picked and finalized. Now, when will we actually find out the name of whatever they ended up picking is another story. And although I would love to find out this month, odds are more likely that they'll wait until March to release the name in a community transmission. Most likely to build up the hype toward it, like for example Lucasfilm are doing for the title of Episode 9, which we also don't know the name of that as of the recording of this video. Although J. Ingram did give us a hint saying that the name of the mode is more than one word, which in that case of course rules out Titan from being used. And community manager Ben Wok even mentioned that he saw someone actually guess the name of the mode online. I mean, I'm personally holding out on the mode being called Galactic Domination. But if there are people out there that already guessed the name of the mode, then I'd like to think that it's kinda obvious. Well, we'll just have to wait and see. But that'll do it for this Battlefront update. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it, and subscribe to the channel to not only support it, but keep up with Star Wars news, gaming, and canon lore released every week. And consider following me on Twitter and Facebook to never miss out on the latest Star Wars related content. Thanks for watching and may the Force be with you.